Hello, if you can hear metal in the background, that's because there's metal in the background. I am in a music studio, which in hindsight, probably not the best place to record a podcast. I was thinking I could be loud, which I can be, but so can everybody else here. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I'm very familiar with, and that is feeling bad. I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. What if I just started rapping? I'm full of surprises, so feeling happy isn't something that has come naturally to me. Maybe there was a time in my life when it did, but I can't remember it. As far as I can remember, it's always just been me and my strange thoughts against the world. I couldn't sleep at night as a child. I was freaked out and weirded out, and everybody was just confusing. So I started drinking when I was pretty young. I just felt bad all the time, and I had tried other ways of feeling good, but when I found alcohol, it was just way faster, way more effective. So yeah, I felt bad all the time. I felt scared, and somebody had alcohol one day and I tried it, and the second that I drank, it was like, okay, well, everything else I've ever tried to feel better, not only is it working better, but it just gets me there way faster. So it's, I'm all about efficiency. So it became all about me trying to get alcohol. The circumstances of my life during this time were pretty horrible. I'm not going to get into all of the reasons why, but even if they weren't, I still felt pretty strange. But on top of that, my life was bleak. When I first started drinking, a part of me knew, like, I need this. This is gonna help. If I've gotta be here, then I'm gonna need some of this. I could get away with drinking a lot more than other kids because my parents weren't really paying attention to me. I know that they will never watch this. Or I would say, hi, Mom. Sad story. I wasn't my family's focus of attention. I never was. I'm still not. But it's their loss because that's super mean, and I was really sad. Luckily for me, at 12 or 13, vodka comes in a lot of flavors, like marshmallow. So that was my thing, and I just did that for a long time. And it kind of worked until it didn't work anymore. My body started to fail, and my life was pretty horrible, and things came to, I want to say, a screeching halt, but it was kind of like being dragged behind a moving car for a really long time. Let's be real. By the time I tried to turn my life around, I was 22. I was in survival mode for so long that being happy and feeling good was so far away from my realm of understanding. It was just kind of like, I just need to feel different. I just got to get out of whatever this is, because this, I don't like it. So alcohol was a thing. And then when I started trying to turn my life around, I was just like, oh God, is this what it feels like to be here? This is so brutal. By this time, I thought, okay, well, I've been making really bad choices, and I have been a consistently bad person. I've hurt a lot of people. So maybe my life feels really horrible because I'm a bad person. Maybe I'll try to change my life and how I show up for it, and maybe things will get better and they'll feel better. Or maybe I'll find some semblance of peace. And then maybe I won't feel so bad all the time. It didn't work out that way for me, though. It took a really long time for me to even feel remotely human again. It's not that I was trying to be a good Samaritan or find God or be spiritual at all. It's just that I was like, this can't be it. This can't be all that there is. I want to be able to do my thing, and maybe life isn't always going to feel great, but I'm looking around me at other people, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like everybody is feeling as low as I am at this time. I was only 22, but it felt like I had lived the life experience of people 5 times my age. In other ways, I felt like a child, like I hadn't developed in all of these ways that other people had. So I was really behind, and I was just at this point learning how to be a human being, learning how to do things a new way without being evil. And people like to tell you to smile, but you have no idea how big of a hole somebody might be trying to dig themselves out of at any given time. I looked young, like I should be excited about living in Hollywood and life, but I was just like, dude, there is a guy looking for me and he wants me dead. I'm gonna try to smile, but it's not gonna be easy. It's definitely not gonna feel good. I'm just doing it for you. So I did start to try. I was changing, I was growing, I was moving towards something better, for sure. Anything would be better than what was there before. there. It wasn't exactly love and light. That was too far of a reach. Affirmations didn't feel real enough. Trying to feel really great was too big of a jump for me. So I was just kind of trying to not feel like I was drowning. People talk a lot about fake it till you make it. And I hated it the second I heard it, and I still kind of hate it. I understand its relevance and its place in the world because sometimes we have imposter syndrome and can't see ourselves clearly. And it is okay to come into a situation with confidence, to put everybody else at ease and just do the job, kind of just get over yourself. I get it from that standpoint, especially with women. We know so much more than we give ourselves credit for. I get it in that sense, but at the time I was just like, I want to live a life that feels authentic to me. And what I was seeing reflected back was basically that I needed to pretend to feel okay. I just really didn't get that. How lonely is that, to pretend to be okay? If you're not, I'm already tired enough. Now I gotta pretend to be happy, but I'm not happy? That didn't make sense to me. Something that did make sense to me was to begin to feel into my experiences, because I had spent so much of my life trying to outrun them. Trying really hard not to feel bad, trying really hard not to feel anything, really. I started to feel into them and I just started writing it all down. Everything just poured out of me. I started writing music every day. I learned 3 chords. I love them. They're my favorite. I have written a bajillion songs with them. Moving from feeling like I was numbing myself out to survive to feeling everything so intensely. I guess you could say I was transmuting it, writing it, and that felt right. It felt real. It made sense to me. If I can't make it make sense to me, it's just not going to be something that I can sustain in my life. But this, writing, making music, making art, expressing my feelings, having a place for them, and sort of channeling them, that made sense to me. That worked for me. It didn't always feel good, but it felt real. It felt authentic. It wasn't exactly happiness, and I don't think that it was inner peace. Feeling that intensely, that many horrible emotions, when you come out of a really traumatic experience and you don't have any way of numbing out anymore, you'll either find a different way to numb out or it's too much. People can't feel that way. That is why writing and making music, those are my go-tos. That was my new way of surviving the world. Because of that, everything I made was kind of sad, definitely dark, and super fucked up. That's how I felt, and that's where that got to live. This is like over a few years. Even if I didn't always come across as a dark, sad, fucked up person, that was still what was coming out through my music. As I'm saying that, I'm like, have I ever not come across as a dark, weird, fucked up person? I don't know. Maybe. Well, I don't care. So that was my context for making sense of things. It became how I related to the world and to myself, to create something, to move it some way, to get it out of me. And it was fun. Still fun. Things had been slowly getting better for me on the outside and the inside. I'm not going to get into all the ways that I improved myself and made my life better, but it was a major obsession. I was like, if I could just fix me and I could just figure out why I feel so horrible all the time, then life will be easier, because life felt too hard. It felt like too much. And I saw other people. I looked at them and I was like, how come it seems like it works better for them? How come it seems so much easier for them? It's not fair. This was like my phase of trying to do everything everyone else's way and thinking if things were going well for them and I did what they did, then maybe that would work for me and that my life would start to feel better. And in some ways it did. There were some rudimentary things that I needed to learn how to do that will improve your life without a doubt. But there was some other things that it was like, and this isn't to judge anybody else or what they need or how to do things, but it was almost like what I noticed from other people when I looked around. Like they got to a certain place and then they were just kind of cool with it. And I didn't feel like that. I felt like every time I got to another layer of truth, I found another one underneath it. And I wanted to know what was up with that one. And I had a lot of layers. I'm like Shrek. All those onion layers. I value truth so much that it's a little harder for me to be okay with just accepting things as they are. When I feel like something's off, it's hard for me not to be like, what is that? And to keep digging. There's beauty in that, and also me internalizing that because it didn't seem like that was everybody else's experience. What is wrong with me? Something is definitely wrong with me because everybody else seems to be content or they're working towards something. My experience with the world and the way that I moved through the world and did things was intense and hard. People are saying this is what's normal and this is what you're supposed to do. And I'd be like, why would I do that? And then I'll try it. And I'm like, this feels horrible. And is everybody just lying or am I insane? I decided I was crazy and I could be. But also I was like, I don't know if I'm really that crazy. I feel like I'm just seeing something that nobody else is saying, which is that this cannot be it. We're just gonna do this, life like this, and then we're cool with that, with just suppressing all of our emotions and having it come out in weird sideways ways and being incredibly disconnected from each other and escaping on the internet and lying to each other and cheating. And even if we're not fully lying, we're lying to ourselves and nobody's really being that authentic. And I'm supposed to jump through all these hoops about who I'm supposed to be on the outside and nobody really likes who I am on the inside, but I'm supposed to be authentic and that's very confusing. I have so many more thoughts. I can't say them as fast as they can go in my head. I was just like, what really is going on here? I know that I wanted to live life on life's terms or whatever. I went to AA and they're like, you're not unique. We're all the same. And I was like, all right, we're all the same. Does everybody feel this way? Or am I just obsessed with myself? So that's when I went into my era of being like, okay, well, I'm just a bad person. I'm crazy. There's something wrong with me and I should just be happy. And if I'm not happy, that's my fault. Another voice inside my head is just like, I got sober for this. Jeez, I miss drugs. Maybe that life wasn't as bad as I remembered. I felt like something was off. Deep down, my intuition was saying, it's not just you. And it's not even what the doctors are saying is you. Because they said I was clinically depressed and I had anxiety because of my life. And I said, okay, I've been doing EMDR therapy and I'm really healthy. I do 10 times more things than other people do to feel okay. And I'm just barely okay. I don't think I'm just depressed anymore. I think it's something else. But that's when I started to abandon the idea of happiness altogether. And I thought maybe that's just not realistic. We're supposed to feel the full spectrum of human emotion. I just wanted to feel normal, like a normal person. And it took me a really long time to accept that that is not gonna fucking happen because I am not a normal person. I am really weird. But there's nothing wrong with me. And I actually don't think I'm clinically depressed. So here's what happened. I totally pulled back from everything. I had tried everything everybody else's way and it still wasn't working. I actually felt like I was getting worse in some ways because I had kind of abandoned parts of myself that I didn't want to really leave behind. I just thought, okay, well, this is bad, this is good, this is what they said I should do, so I'll do that. Like everything outside of me, I believed everybody but me because I thought I couldn't trust myself because I felt so crazy. I pulled away, I pulled back, and I went into myself like a hermit crab or something. Do they go in themselves? I think they just go into a shell. Well, whatever. I took some time, got very introspective, a long time, and I know that I was privileged enough to even be able to do that because not everybody can. In a way, it was like auditing my truth. What really is mine? What is my truth? Fuck what everybody else says. That's the thing, is I had been in a lot of relationships at this point. I'd gotten a lot of pushback from people around what is normal, what is okay, and what is the behavior that's acceptable. I'm that annoying person that has to know why, right? Because that doesn't make sense to me. So I was like, okay, well, why though? I know you're saying this is bad and like my values are loose and I have no morals, but why? Why did we all get on board with women being women inside of women's bodies was something that we needed to be ashamed about? I started to really look at everything different. I think other people who knew me at that time might have thought of me as a person who seemed like they really trusted themselves and was maybe even brave or courageous, but I didn't really feel like that. Sometimes I did, but there was this other layer that was trying to say something to me, and I had totally tuned it out. I got more familiar with that voice. I wish I could convey in a sentence everything that I had found during that time. I guess I could. It was that none of this really matters. You don't need any of this. You can stop playing this game at any time. But a part of me was like, well, I don't want to stop. There's still stuff I want to do. I have dreams. I got big goals. I got accomplishments I want to do. And it was like, okay, I know that now. It's a choice I'm making. So if none of this really mattered, then what do I really want to be? Who do I really want to be? How do I really really want to live my life? How did I get so caught up in thinking that everybody else knew what they were talking about so much better than I do? Okay, I have answers to all these questions. I was just seeing something, finally, that nobody else was really ever talking about. The way that I was living my life, the way that I was working, my goals, my relationships, they were never going to work that way. And even if I could make them work for a time, it was at what cost? Holding on to it that way, I put everything down. And I waited to see what I would pick back up on my own because I wanted to at this point. I started moving through the world in an incredibly different way, tuning in with myself before doing things, really having this kind of center, choosing how I answered questions even, and dropping this mask, this fake it till you make it thing. With this newfound, deeper, authenticer layer of me, what I found is that I cannot do anything anymore that doesn't feel true to me. I am different. I do not have the same values as most people. I have no interest in conforming to the norms of this society. Also, I'm in America. Need I say more? Trying harder at the same thing is not going to make it work. Trying harder at the same thing over and over again, like if I just keep trying, like the American dream, like they promised me, just work really hard, it's going to eventually work out. It's a scam, you guys. It's not necessarily true. You can take a step to the side and examine your life and go, hey, maybe I need to do things differently, which is what I did. I can say, honestly, that I had tried to do things everybody else's way, so I knew for sure that it didn't work. I think a lot of times we get to this place in life where we feel like we're just beating our head against the wall, and we're like, what is going on? What gives? When you get to that point, some people have a breakdown and then just get right back to it. They're like, oh, whatever, I was being dramatic. But when I had these breakdowns, I would follow them through. I'd lean into them. I'd be like, what is this trying to tell me? I would end up having a breakthrough. When you start to see this other layer of life and all this depth, you don't even really know what to do with it because it's kind of a lot to hold. It would be a lot easier if I didn't have to know that. If I could just go right back into not caring about anything, kind of being surface level, being cool with status quo. It's like status quo, I don't even know what that means exactly because I'm not even saying that you need to be the best at something or achieve something or be special. When I say I feel different, I don't mean that I think I'm better than anybody else. I mean that I've seen the pattern throughout my life that when I open up to people, they tell me that I'm very weird. And I think that they're really weird because I don't understand how their brains are so boring and that they don't think about the things that I think about. I'm not saying that we're all doomed or anything, but I realized that I wanted to enjoy my life. I wanted to feel like it was my life, that I wasn't just subscribing to something because I had no other choice. I didn't want to feel like I was living my life waiting for things to get better anymore. I wanted to really be here for it and be able to support myself with the least amount of negative side effects possible. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do in order to live in the world. I'm not trying to go fully off-grid or anything. That's too much work. I don't want to have to deal with one of those weird off-grid toilets. And I don't have the privilege to have infinite money to pull from to just dilly-dally through life and be like, I don't have to do this anymore. I have to do some of this. When I don't want to do something that I don't have to do, I don't do it. And I really don't care if that upsets other people because the friends that I have at this point in my life, if they have an issue with me kind of disappearing for a while because I'm doing my thing, they wouldn't be my friends at this point. I need people who are understanding of who I am and how I move through the world. I'm not going to do things just because I am a very understanding person. I've had to be very understanding because I was living my entire life trying to understand why everybody else did things the way they did them. Nobody ever tried to understand me or why I was doing it. I guess I got to be my own guinea pig. There's so much to my life that I do enjoy, and I had been just living with this edge of like, I'll finally feel better once I achieve blank, which is very American dreamy, where it's like, just go for the goal and become a winner and become a millionaire and everything's gonna be okay. They lied to us, by the way. That's not the case. If that worked for you, congratulations. I don't know why you're watching this. I don't know how you found this because you're super not my audience. Anytime I kind of try to get comfortable and relax. It was, no, there's got to be a productive edge to everything I was doing. Now, in my newfound truth that I was doing, I realized, wow, when I listen to myself and my body and do things that feels natural to me, I actually get way more done. When I do go to do something, it just clicks. It's smoother. I'm moving from a place that feels authentic and sustainable, and it works for me. It's not about success in the American dream way of looking at success, because I don't want to step on other people to get somewhere. I don't want to have to hurt anybody to win or whatever. I want to feel connected to people and do stuff that feels good and lifts people up and have a good time. Why is it all about being the best? I think because everything we do has got this edge of we have to monetize it. We have to prove that we're worthy of even being listened to by having 1 million followers, because that really proves everything. Can we not think about anyone who has a lot of followers that maybe we should stop listening to? Hello, to say, but what do I know? I'm just a girl. I wanted to create a life that felt genuine and felt natural to sustain. Easier to sustain, I should say. I pulled back, let go of a lot, moved forward with my own authority, the way that feels right to me. I can't say I have ever been fully unapologetic. I would like to be able to be like that, but I think if you really knew what I was thinking at any given moment, it would be very distracting. Moving away from this paradigm of capitalistic being enoughness has been hard because we're constantly inundated with it. I looked around me at the people in my life who were the happiest, and they were the people who were carving out time just to do their thing. Yeah, they wanted to build and grow. They were doing it for themselves. By doing something for yourself, it's not selfish. You're also giving other people the opportunity to collaborate with you, to enjoy what you're doing, to see what you're doing, you're sharing. It's more than just for you. When I started prioritizing my experiences, my friends, I had never even traveled really. I'd gone out of the country 2 times with an ex-boyfriend. It was his idea, otherwise I wouldn't have even gone. I realized if I don't go see the world, I'm never going to see the world. And is there ever going to be a good time? I mean, right now it does seem like a pretty good time to get out of here. Having adventures and laughing and being really present as I can be. I get a lot of ideas going in my head. I do get pulled away from the moment a lot. I think that's just kind of how I work. I'm not dead yet. It's still moving. Now I live a life where I tune into my body. I still have to mask from time to time, because if I don't, I will get fired probably. It's happened before. Most of all, I don't convince myself I'm happy when I'm not, because I listen to my body and to when I'm saying I'm not happy and this doesn't feel right. There's a reason, and I'm gonna find it out. I'm gonna reveal to myself, what do I need to let go of right now? What is it that is standing in my way of that? People are like, it's you're standing in the way, and that's very elusive and almost so simple. It's your thought patterns, your brain, everything you've inherited over all these years. It's not just as simple as get out of your own way. You have to do some somatic work. I have a really busy mind. I do a lot more just to feel okay than I have seen other people need to do. That's just my experience, but I don't think I'm alone in that. Most of the time, even when I'm not happy, I really enjoy my days because I feel like, yeah, this is my life. I chose this life and I built this life. But even on my bad days, I still feel like I'm in it with me and it has purpose and meaning, and I'm moving towards something that I like. I'm cool with where I am too. I don't look back on my past and think, if only blah, 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 then I would be okay. I would have to rewrite everything in order for that to be true. And who really has time for that? I also had to give up on the idea of coming across as a good person and let people not like me. Just be the villain in these, I'm sorry, but usually white guys' stories about me. Like, if you're not the villain in a white guy's story by now, you're doing something wrong. You need to be meaner. You need to be more real. Because they don't like it. It was easier for everyone else. When I was stupid, when I didn't believe in myself and thought that I didn't know anything, I could see how other people felt less intimidated by me. But I'm glad most of those people kindly stepped out of my way. And now I'm left with the people who can hang. I'm trying to be honest with myself. Every day. I do that by expressing myself outwardly with my creations, with my art, with myself. Crazy. It took me all that time to learn that. I may be a slow learner, but I do it in this really cool twirly way where I learn all these other things just to come back to something that may have been really obvious. But now I really know why. I also know I want to let more people into my world. I want to share what I found with people who might be struggling with the same things I've been struggling with, because you don't need to fit in. You don't need to make something work for you that doesn't work. You can make your own way. Being weird, being different, feeling wrong, feeling fucked up, feeling bad, it's a signal.
it is something to create from. It's not the only thing to create from. You can also make things when you feel good, but I don't have to hold on to that feeling of feeling good anymore either. I can let that one come and go, even though I really like it and I wish it would stay. Yeah, sometimes when I'm feeling really happy, I'm like, I did it. I transcended the human experience. I'm done. This is so great. Then next week I start feeling bad and I'm like,